Welcome to the Gardenangelists, where we talk about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I'm Carol Michael, and I'm here with
Dee Nash.
Hello, Dee, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Carol. We made it. Everybody, we made it. We made it to Christmas.
Our Christmas Day podcast. This won't be as long as some of them.
No, because we've got to go open more gifts and drink some eggnog.
So I bought a beautiful arrangement to put on the family Christmas table for the for everybody to enjoy. So I bet I'm not the only one who got fresh flowers at Christmas time. Let's talk about how to keep those puppies going so that they still look good all the way through the new year.
Okie dokie, let's get started. You go first. Do you want me to talk about it or you?
Yeah. The first thing I do, I would tell people, and I know they won't do it, is change the water daily, because that water gets pretty nasty and smelly if you don't. And then you'll walk into a room and think, what's that smell? And it'll be your cut flowers. So change the water every day.
Yeah, because if you don't change that water, it smells like a bad compost heap. Not a good smelling compost heap, but a bad smelling one. And the reason it does is because bacteria built up in it. So I have a question for you. Do you use the powdered stuff that comes with the flowers, or are you anti-powdered stuff?
I'm not anti, I'm lazy. I would just rather change the water out every day than mess with that powder. I don't even know what's in that powder. Is it like, some people say it's like sugar? It could be an antimicrobial thing to keep the bacteria down. I don't really know. Do you use it?
I do use it. I think it works pretty well, and that way I don't have to change it every day. But some people are against it. But the thing is, I think it's a mixture, and I didn't go and research this, and I probably should have, but I think it's a mixture of kind of a Clorox and some sugar. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The other thing you can do is, if you have flowers in a vase, you can pull those out and cut the ends of the flowers a smidgen every other day or so, and that'll allow them to continue to wick up water and they won't get all clogged.
Right, because when you cut a flower, whether it's out in the garden or if it's one that is sent to you, the first thing you need to do is cut those off again and, use a little bit of warm water, not super warm, just a little bit of warm water. And that helps those cells at the bottom of that to open back up, because that stem immediately closes off to protect whatever moisture is left in the stem and the flower. But you want it to wick up more moisture.
Right. The one exception to that is if you got a centerpiece arrangement or something and they used Oasis form, you're not expected to pull everything out of that Oasis and cut it and put it all back.
No, you're not. It's that Oasis floral, what is that stuff called? Floral foam?
Yeah, floral foam.
And it's green and it's kind of gross when you touch it, but it does work really well to keep plants open and drawing up moisture, which is what you want them to do. I think cutting off the bottoms of the flowers is probably the best tip we can give people if they're in water.
Right. The other thing I would tell people is look at the bouquet, and if one flower is wilting and giving it up faster than another one, there's nothing says you can't pull that one or two flowers out that are starting to get all wilty and making the whole bouquet look bad, and then what's left will look that much nicer.
Exactly. I got a lot of flower bouquets this year in January and February after my sister passed away, and a lot of people sent me some from a place called Farm Girl Flowers. And Farm Girl Flowers, they ship all across the United States, and everything comes, and it's an actual bouquet, like as though you went out in the greenhouse and cut it yourself. So it doesn't come with another vase, which I don't need anyway. At 56 years old, I got enough vases for 2 lifetimes. And you just cut the flowers to the length you want them, and those flowers lasted for 2 weeks for me, because they were so fresh to begin with. Oh, they were beautiful. And so I'm going to give her a plug. I don't know her, but here you go, girl, because I like your flowers. And they're all really unique blooms, too, and grown locally in California. Shall we talk a bit about how flowers are grown in certain parts of the world and why American-grown flowers might be the best thing in the world?
We can do that. We talked about that before, but it's worth saying again.
It is worth saying again. Flowers that are grown locally or as local as you can make them are the best thing you can do. They're better for you, they're better for the environment, and they're better for the workers. See, that was quick.
That was quick. So I hope people, even if you didn't get a bouquet for Christmas, there's nothing that brightens up the winter than to get yourself some fresh cut flowers so that you can enjoy them.
Yeah, you can get them at the grocery store. Even if you can't find them American grown, buy some for yourself because we got another 2 to 3 months of winter.
That we do. We're just beginning. So are you eating good over the holidays here, Dee?
I'm eating a little too good, Carol. I've gained a couple of pounds, and I'm trying to lose them by eating salads and cruciferous vegetables that are baked in the oven. How about you?
I'm good. It seems every holiday I am given the responsibility to bring veggies and dip. So carrot sticks, celery sticks, radishes, cucumbers, cauliflower, broccoli, and some dip. And people sit and munch on that all day long, which is good. That's better than munching on cookies all day long.
Well, that's the truth. Or potato chips. I do love potato chips, though.
Well, wait a minute. It's not really better than that. It's better for you. We, of course, would like to just eat the cookies and the chips. But it's better for you. And I think we all kind of feel less guilt. And then, you go out to Pinterest, and there are people that make these beautiful, Christmas plates where they've got all the vegetables arranged like it's a Christmas tree with a bunch of the ornaments are like cherry tomatoes. I don't do anything like that.
Creative vegetable stacking.
No.
You don't do that?
No. We just get them and I pile them into little piles and they eat them.
Do you have yours on a Lazy Susan? Do you even know what a Lazy Susan is?
I know what a Lazy Susan is. It's that thing that spins. You can spin it around.
Yeah, and they used to make them. They were really popular in the 50s, and they had little dishes, and they were like dip and chip deals, and you could bring out the dishes and bring them in. And this antique store that I go to a lot in Guthrie, he has a bunch of them, which makes me laugh because I'm like, where do you put that dang thing the rest of the year? Because how often do you really use a Lazy Susan of vegetables?
Don't need that. So what vegetable are you eating for Christmas?
Well, I would love to tell you that the Nashes are just veggie good at Christmas and Christmas Eve. We do our big party on Christmas Eve, and last night when we had it, we did the traditional thing for us, which is totally weird. We eat Schwab's hot dogs. Schwab's hot dogs were made in Oklahoma and still are, although they're sold at Walmart of all places, and Schwab's chili, and then we always have sauerkraut. Now, I would love to tell you that I grow the cabbage and that I make my own sauerkraut, but that would be a big fat lie. I do not. I buy sauerkraut. I do not buy the canned sauerkraut because it has more salt in it. I buy either the fresh one that's right next to the chili and the hot dogs in the case, or I buy one that is in a glass jar. I like the fresh kraut the best because it is less salty and it tastes better and it actually crunches. So I am rather picky about my one vegetable the night before Christmas Day. Somebody may bring a vegetable tray too, but the truth is most years we do not have a vegetable tray, and last night was one of those.
Well, good. Well, I don't eat sauerkraut, so please eat my helping of that.
Why do you not eat sauerkraut?
I don't know. Just one of those things.
It's full of good bacteria. Yeah. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And but I don't eat it.
There's a couple of companies now, and you can find their stuff at like Whole Foods. Uh-huh. And it's young millennials making sauerkraut, and they make some really good ones. And I can't remember the brand name, but it's in the fresh section, and they have like jalapeno, ginger flavored, all these different flavors of sauerkraut.
If I found a good kraut that was fresh and it wasn't the canned stuff that's all salty, I might actually like it. So I'm willing to try it.
Why don't you try one of those, and then you can report back to me on another podcast and let me know if you liked it.
And you know what? And it'll take me weeks and weeks and weeks, and every week you can say, hey, Carol, did you try any sauerkraut yet?
And you'll probably say, no, not yet, but next week I'm running right down to the grocery store and getting some.
Yes.
But my family's half German. So that's why we eat sauerkraut. It's because of the German side of the family. The other family's Irish, and so for them, I don't know, we eat potatoes, I guess. But they eat a lot of kraut, too. We had a lot of cabbage. Yeah, fresh cabbage. But I do that for St. Patrick's Day. Okay. So what's next, Carol? What else are we going to talk about?
Well, we're going to talk about how this holidays are very stressful for people. And I read an article.
I can't imagine why.
I read an article that people talked about, it's the stress of deciding where they're going to spend the holidays, who's going to cook, who's going to clean up, who's going to buy gifts, what are they going to get for gifts. They're going to get everything done, get everything wrapped. And so, Dee, what is the answer for relieving stress? There's one answer, right?
Right. There's one answer to all great questions in life, Carol.
Exactly. And that is
1, 2, 3.
Gardening.
Gardening is the answer to all of the great questions of life.
It is. You're feeling stressed. I think if you go and you get a house plant and bring it home and tend to it, you'll feel less stress.
Right. I mean, the whole reason people do bonsai is because it's very small movements. It makes you focus on something. And they've proven through horticultural therapy that it really benefits people to garden because they are concentrated on something for a long period of time. Not unlike like watching fish or watching chickens, if you've raised chickens, those kinds of activities where you have to do something with your hands and not constantly be on your phone or on your computer, which we do a lot of because of work. It's a great way to relieve stress. And I can tell you, as a mother of 4 adult children, one of whom is now married, the holidays can be very stressful, but I just choose to take my time with things. And of course, I'm always gardening, as anybody can see from my Instagram.
So relieve that stress by getting yourself some houseplants, tending to those, start a terrarium would be good. Even going outside for a walk is good, and get yourself away from the screens, away from the screaming relatives, and out into nature, and you'll be much happier.
And you can walk off some of that dip that Carol's bringing to the party. That's another thing. If you walk outside, you're going to get a little exercise. And while you're exercising, you can listen to this podcast.
Exactly. So, Dee, we can be found on iTunes. And
we can be found on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And you can also email us at
thegardenangelists@gmail.com.
Please send us your questions. Please give us a good rating on iTunes because that helps other people to hear us. And, don't compare us to the murder podcasts because they have a much bigger audience than we do.
There's a murder podcast?
Oh, honey, there's a whole, murder podcasts are like really, really popular. And if you want to feel bad about yourself, just walk around, outside and listen to My Favorite Murder. Those girls have a huge podcast, but, they've been doing it a while.
Well, I'm going to make a note, Dee. We're going to talk about plant murder.
Ooh, plant murder. I like it.
We're going to talk about that on a future podcast. But in the meantime, we want to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
We'll be back for the new year with another exciting episode of the Gardenangelists.
Bye now.
Bye.